Hello, colleagues and friends. This is Calvin's. Today, first of all, I want to welcome you to this tutorial. Stay tuned up to the end. Today, I want to talk about a different thing about generation of reports. Now, the other time, I talked about how you can automate the Excel to generate the grades for you in tutorial 1 or part 1. So we can refresh ourselves. So for example, we have a mark sheet here. You're able to see that these are admission numbers, the streams, the names, and of course the marks or the mark entry area. So when you look at the column of English, you're able to see that these are English marks and these are English grades. I want us to refresh ourselves on how we are able to generate these grids automatically. Once you enter the marks, the grid will be automatically generated. So we are going to use what we call VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is a formula that will enable us, is a function that will enable us to return the grade to a particular score or marks. So we must have what you call lookup table, the one we have at the side here. You're able to see this one. So this table, when you look at it, we have 0 up to 24, that is E. Then 25 up to 29, that is D minus. Then 30 up to 34, that is D plane, and so on and so forth. Then we have here 75, from 75 up to 100, we have A plane. Anything above 100, we are not going to return any grade. There's a question mark here to return. So that is the VLOOKUP table. So let us refresh ourselves. We want to return the grade for 18 marks here. So we put our cursor there. So we will say equal, we will type equal sign now that we know that any formula in Excel starts with equal sign in the formula part. So we have equal sign there. Then you put VLOOKUP. Already you are able to see that, so to generate it there, completion. So this part, this VLOOKUP has got uh, 4 parts. We have the lookup value, the value you want to return a grade to. Then there's the table, the VLOOKUP table. Then there's the column index, the index or the column number from where you are going to fetch the grades. Then we have the range lookup, whether you need to return the approximate value or just exact value. Okay, so let us see the VLOOKUP formula. We have put there the brackets. Then this is the VLOOKUP value. It's at position E2, comma. Then we go to the table array. Table array, you can see we now have table array. We have put the lookup value, which is at position E2. Then now table array, you can either type the range, or you can come and highlight the table like that. Okay, then already you can see it's already given up there as a range. Then comma. Then we put the column from where we want to return the grade, which is column 2. The grades are in column 2, as you're able to see. Then comma, you're able to see that already we are being given the options here. We can either put it true or false. That is approximate match or exact match. But now that we have this table with some values not visible, but they are there, we are going to return approximate match or true. Then we put bracket there. Then we put equal, we put enter, we enter that. Then let us see what will happen when you try to copy it down. So you can copy it down like that. So you're able to see what has happened. You're able to see that the certain cells where we have an error generated. That is because the VLOOKUP table range is somehow changing as you copy the formula down. So it's not supposed to change because it's the same table we are returning the grades from. So it's not supposed to change. So that's why you see it is generating this error, because when you come to this, for example, check this, you will see the VLOOKUP formula, the VLOOKUP table has changed position EC3, AD15. So it is changing as you move down, which is not very correct, wrong. So it should maintain. So to do that one, we put a dollar sign to enclose the letters only in this case, because we don't need it to change, we make it absolute. So just put dollar sign like that. So when you put enter, then you copy that one down, you're able to see that everything is now okay. So when you look at the formula, the VLOOKUP table range, it is just the same as you move down. So that's what you do to generate all these grades. Okay, that's what we looked at the other time. So then now let us look at I believe the total, that is sum function. Then class position is just rank function. All that we did at the time. So let us look at how you can actually extract stream merit list out of this overall merit list. This is the overall merit list where we have all the streams you can see from 1G, from 1R, from 1 blue. So it's just having all the students from all those streams. So we want to extract the merit lists representing all the streams. We want to filter it into those various uh, streams so that we have merit lists for those streams. So how do we do that one? That is what I want us to learn today. So let us move to this sheet here. I'd already made it just to save time. So before we go to this sheet, let us go back to where we were. So look at this column A. This column A contains some numbers. You're able to see number 1, number 2. So these are just row numbers of the table, row numbers of our table. The table, this is the table where we have the data. It's at A2. The table is actually at A2 up to AB, up to AB, all through to AB 40, AB 40. So now uh, let us look at these values here. These values here are for they're representing the rows for our table, not rows for the Excel worksheets. The Excel worksheets, the rows we have here 1, 2 as you move down, but the rows for our table uh, are represented by this column here. So row number 1 of our table is this one here. This is the row number 1. Then the row number 2 of our table. Then the row number 3 of our table. Then the row number 4 of our table, and so on and so forth. So these rows are different from the worksheet rows. They are different. These are the row for our table, but this is the row for the worksheet. So we are talking about these row numbers for our table. They're the ones we are going to use. So we number those rows of our table. Those rows of our table starting from where our data begins. So we are not considering the headers. We are not considering the headers as part of the row numbers. So the row numbering starts from here, okay, where the data begins. So we need to do that one because it's going to help us. So when we come here, let me unhide some rows here, some columns here. These columns, we call them helper. We call them helper columns. They are very, very necessary because they are going to help us great deal. So this helper column A, this helper in column A, you can see we are returning the row numbers. We are returning the row numbers, or we are building row numbers here. So this formula we are using here for rows, I believe you know the difference between rows and row function. So rows function, for example, you can say rows. It will only return the number of rows in a particular range in a particular range. So like you can say rows, A2 to A7, rows A2 to A7, rows A2 to A7. Then you see it will return the number of rows in that range. So A2 begins from here up to A7 up to here. So those are how many rows? There are 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So rows function will return the number of rows in a particular range of cells. Then there's also row function, row without s. So row function will return the row number uh, of that particular row in the Excel worksheet. So like now, I've forgotten to put equal sign. So when you put equal sign there, so this one tells you that this row is row number 8. It's row number 8 in the Excel worksheet. As you're able to see on the side here, 8. So that's the difference between rows and row. Rows will return any number of rows in a particular range of cells, while row function will give you the row number, okay, in the Excel worksheet. So that's the difference. So let's go back here. So we have this column here. We see we have we are using rows function. Rows function. We want to return the number of rows in certain range of cells from this mark sheet here. So this is how we are doing it. For us to return 1 here, then we are going to look at the number of rows from B2 up to 2. From B2, which is here, from B2 up to B2, okay. Then B2 up to B3, then B2 up to B4, then B2 up to B5, then number of rows between cells B2 up to B6, then between B2 up to B7. When we say B2 up to B7, we mean that one from B2 up to B7, B2 up to B7. So we need to return those number of rows uh, in this mark sheet. So we are doing it like that. So here we want B2 up to B2, B2 absolute up to B2. So this one is going to change as we move down. When we copy that formula down, this one will actually change. So rows from this worksheet, from one mark sheet, position B2 absolute, which means it's going to start from B2 for all of them, then up to B2, the same cell. We are going to return that number of rows. It's only 1. Then from B2, so when you copy that one down like this, you are going to see that the next one is from B2 up to B3. Then the next one is from B2 up to B4. So it's just counting the number of rows in that particular range. From B2 up to B5, there are 4 range. There are 4 rows. So that one gives us some kind of numbering here. So you can see 1 row, 2 row, 3 rows, 4 rows, and it's in that order up to the end of that data we have the other side. Okay. Then that is the first helper column, the row numbers of where our admission number is, or even where our stream is. So it does not matter which column you're using there. So those are the row numbers. Then here, the second helper column is now where we are returning those row numbers which contain the same stream, as the one we have at position AF1. So those are the ones we are going to return. The row numbers which contain the class stream which is corresponding or which is the same as the one we have in this position or in this cell here, which is position AF1. So when you look at this cell AF1, the stream which is now reflected, we have I'll tell you how this one is constructed. So we have form 1R. So the rows corresponding to form 1R, when you come back here, the rows corresponding to form 1R, we have this form 1R, it's corresponding to row 4 of our table. Another form 1R correspond to row 6. So form 1R, row 4, form 1R, row 6. So those rows corresponding to form 1R, they are the ones we return. So form 1R, you can see 4, that's return 6. those rows with from 1R. So those are the ones it has returned. So they are corresponding, they contain rows corresponding to the one we have here, okay? So the formula we use is now this one here. We are putting a condition that if the range, if the row, if the class stream in position C2 on the mark sheet, if the class stream at position C2 on the mark sheet, because that's where the data is beginning from C2, is equivalent or is the same as the class stream we have at position AF1 on this sheet, which is this one here, then we are supposed to return A2, this value here. We are supposed to return this value here. Otherwise, if not, that's not the case, then we return a blank cell. So that will give us blank because row 1 is not containing. Row 1 is not containing. If you look at this one, row 1 here, it's not containing from 1R, it's containing another stream which is from 1G. So we are going to return an empty cell here. So when you copy that one down, it will return only those rows with from 1G, from 1R, which is here. So I hope you understand that formula. So the next helper column, we now want to bring these values together so that they are close without any row between them. Like now, if you look at 4 and 6, there is this row in between them. When you look at 6 and 9, there are all these rows between them. When you look at 6 and 9 and 13, you can see very many rows between them. So we want to remove those rows. How do we do that? Now that's what we do in this column. See, we use the function small. We use the function small. So the function small will return the smallest value. The smallest value. So it will return the smallest value. The ranking in terms of size, in terms of being small, we use this particular criteria here. Like here, we want to return the value which is number 1 in being small. Okay, number 1 in being small. That means the smallest. So we are going to use this one, number 1, as the criteria. So we are going to say that the small. Let us remove this if error. So we are going to say small function there. So we are going to look at return a small value, the smallest value from this range of cells, B2 to B1000, B2 to B1000. So this is the column B2 to B1000. So it can even B2 to B20 depending on the number of data or the number of items in your row or in your column. So from B2 up to B1000, from B2 up to B1000, that's the column where we are returning those values. Then we are returning the small value, which is the first smallest. You understand? The first smallest. The first smallest. So the first smallest, that's why we have A2 here, which is containing 1. So the position 1 in being small, which we are going to see which one it is returning. The first in being small, or the smallest. So that is the formula. So we are returning the small value in this column, which is B2 to B1000, but this small value, it should be the first. It should be the first small value, or the smallest. That's why we're using this criteria A2, which is containing 1. Then you say enter. So when you copy this one down, though there is going to be an error, I'm going to tell you why that error is generated. So when you copy it down like this, okay, there's an error down there. But let us just look at this one. You can see it has brought all of them together. 4, 6, 9, 13, 17. It has brought them now together. 4, 6, 9, 13, 17, 25, up to 39. They're now together without any row in between. So this second value here, it is the second smallest. So that the criteria for this one here, we are going to fetch the second smallest. Here we are going to fetch the third smallest. the fourth smallest, the fifth smallest, the sixth smallest, the seventh smallest, the eighth smallest, the ninth, 10th smallest. That will mean now the largest. Okay, the number last in being small, that means it is the largest. So you look at the formula here. That's the formula to return those values, the small values, using that order. Using that order, the smallest followed by second smallest, third smallest, like that, like that. Then we copy the formula down. So now we have generated an error. So I want us to remove this error. So for us to remove this error, we use if error. If error, believe you know that one. If error. If error, if this formula or this if this formula is generating an error, like it has generated an error, then we want to return an empty cell. If there's an error, we want to cancel that error and return an empty cell. So that is what you do. When you copy that one down, you can see it has cancelled all the errors. So now the next thing is now to begin returning values corresponding to what we have here. It can be admission number, it can be the name, it can be the stream. So we return all these values or all these data points corresponding to these row numbers. Okay, so now look at this. Let us return admission number corresponding to row number 4. So in that case, we can use index. We can use index. For us to return this column here, which is admission number, we use the function index. Again, let me remove this if error, not to confuse us. So let us look at that index function. So index function normally has got 3 parts. The first part is the array, or the range of cells from where that value is going to come from. Then the second value is the row number, the row containing the value that you want to return. Then the third one is the column number containing the value you want to return. Okay, those 3 parts. So we want to return the admission number corresponding to this row number 4. Okay, so this is the formula here. So we want to return the admission number corresponding to row number 4. So you are going to say, you are going to have this is the range, or this is the array from where we are going to return that particular particular admission number. So this is just the table, the whole table. So the table is actually on this sheet called Form 1 mark sheet. Cell B2 up to AB 1000. B2 up to AB 1000 is this one here. This is the from B2, you can see B2 up to AB 1000 going downwards. AB 1000. So the whole of that table, that's where we are looking for the admission number from. But we are going to specify which column and which row number. So we go back here. So when you look at the formula here, okay, this is the table. We have already checked that's the table from where we want to return the value of the admission number. Then our admission number is supposed to be in row 4. This is the row number. So that's the row number. That's our row number, the second part of the index function. The row number is supposed to be in row 4. Then the column number is supposed to be in which column? When you look at our table, admission number is actually in the first column. This one here is the first column of our table. Because our table, this is the table. This is just the row numbers we are putting there, but the actual table, we are looking at this one as the actual table going downwards. So our admission number is in this first column here. So it's in column 1. So column 1, so that's why you see here 1. So after writing this one, you push enter. Then you copy it down so that you generate for this one also. Copy it down. But because the gaps, you can see the gaps, so we can't generate for a cell without a value. So that's why we have an error here. Value, that's the error because there are no values in these cells. So now we can use if error. to remove that particular error. If error is being generated, then we want to return an empty cell. Then just put, let me put it here. I'll copy it and I'll send it. So if error, then return an empty cell. If error, then return an empty cell. Then you copy the formula down. Copy down like that. So the errors have been removed. So we have generated admission numbers corresponding to this, those row numbers. So now the other data, we are going to extract them using VLOOKUP. So like the name, we want to VLOOKUP this admission number from our table here, from this table. This is now our VLOOKUP table. So admission numbers, you can see it is in first column, the stream second column, the name third column. So let us see the VLOOKUP formula for returning the name corresponding to 538 index admission number. So VLOOKUP, let me remove this if error. So now you will just simply have the parts here. You can see lookup value, the table, column index, the range lookup, just like the way we are discussed the other one. So lookup value is ditto, this one here. That's the value we want to return the name. So ditto. Then our VLOOKUP table, the table of array, is this table here from one mark sheet ranging from B2 up to AB 1000. That's our table. Then we want to return the name is in which column in that table. It is in column 3. So we put 3. Then do we want to return exact match or approximate match? Here now we are returning exact match. We are now returning exact match. So that's why we have found here. If it was an approximate match, then you could have seen true. So we are returning exact match. The value which matches, the name which matches this value or this number here. So we want to return exact match. Then you enter. So error will be generated because we have some gaps here. So to avoid that one, let us put if error, if error, if error, if error there. If error, then we have that. Then you put enter. Then copy the formula down. Then everything is okay. So it's returning all the names corresponding to this one here. So we do the same to stream. Though the stream, instead of returning using VLOOKUP, the stream we can simply generate from here. We simply generate from here. So that we say equal. So we can say use this one here. So you can say equal to AF. We want to return AF1, AF1, which is this one here, AF1. Any stream which is reflected here should be returned here. So you can see it's returning from 1R because here we have from 1R. So we copy that one down, but it's going to generate some small errors like this. Why is it generating small errors? We can see it's returning 000 up to down. Why is that the case? So now let us have a condition here. Let us have a condition before I tell you why these zeros are generated. Okay, let me tell you why these zeros are being generated. Because we need to make this reference here absolute. Let it be absolute. It should not be changing as you move downward. Because you can see here, the formula is AF1. When you come to this cell, it is AF2. When you come to this cell, it is AF3. AF4, like that. But we want all of them to be reflecting what we have here, which is AF1. So all of these cells should contain the value at AF1. So even here should be AF1, not AF2. So we make this one absolute. It should not change as you copy the formula. So we use $sign there. $sign is just to make them absolute. Then that will mean everything down will just be AF. Position AF1. So you can see everything is AF1, but it is generating even for empty where we don't have names. It has generated. So to avoid this scenario where even empty cells we are returning the stream we need to put a condition here. You can put if condition. So you can say if this one is empty, if E2 is equal to empty, then return empty. If not, return the value at AF1. Okay, then you put enter there, then copy that one down, and you can see everything is now nice. So if you don't return when we have names where there's no name, it is not returning anything. Okay, so that's how you can return the string from here. But now, Max, for English, you will return from the same VLOOKUP formula. So you'll say English is in which table. So it will depend how you are designing your table. You can even say now your table should start from here up to then here. So that if you use that one, English now will be in column 1 of that table, then the grade will be in column 2. Okay, very simple. Or you can even define your table to be of that range. So in that case, English will be in column 1, grade will be in column 2. But if you define your table to begin from here, then now English will be in column 1, 2, 3, 4. English will now be in column 4. And then the grades will be in column 5. English marks, column 4, grade column 5. So it will depend with how you are naming your table, the range where you are starting from. So let me see how I started mine. So when I look at this, my table is from D2 to AB1000. From D2 to AB1000. From D2, okay, here, from here. From D2 to AB1000. Which means English is now in column 2 when we use that range of table. Now it's column 2. Then this one is column 3. So in VLOOKUP formula, we are going to use second column and third column to return both the marks and the grade. So here we are going to put 2 here, you can see 2, and then false because we need exact match in that case. Then, but if error is to be returned, then we use if error, then put an empty cell there. Then you put enter, then you copy that one down, like that. Then for the grades now, column 3, you can see only the column is now changing. Then you copy that one down as well. So Kiswahili, so column will keep on changing. The same formula. You are just using the same formula. Only column now is going to change as you move across. So for Kiswahili, our table we are going to return column 4, the grade column 5, marks column 6, grade column 7. So you do that one up to the end, up to this one here, up to the end here, and even this one, and even this one. Okay, so okay, you will turn up to class position. Stream position, now you use rank to rank these ones which have been returned from the overall mark sheet. So we have returned all the data up to class position, So for us to return rank, because we need also to get the ranking of this student in this stream. So these are the class position in the overall mark sheet. But what about class stream position? So you just rank this value here. You rank this value using this column here. So you'll say rank. Let us forget about if error. This one will just remove an error if there's going to be one. So just say rank. We are ranking this value here, 728, and it's found which column. We are ranking in this range of cells in this column. So AC2 up to AC1000. Values in this cell from AC2 to AC1000, we are going to compare our value against them to rank. Then, then the order, is it you are going to rank in descending order or ascending order? So we are going to rank in ascending, in descending order. So that the greatest value or the biggest value be on the top, followed by the second biggest, the third largest, like that up to the smallest. So we are ranking in the descending order. So the 0 will represent the order which is descending. If you put 1, then that's ascending value. That means the small value will be up here, then the big value will now be at the bottom, the biggest value will be at the bottom. So you rank like that. That's how the rank function is used. But now When you put enter, you get that this one here is position 1. When you compare it with the other ones, it's position 1. But now, when you're using rank formula, you need to have the absolute referencing of the cell range. You absolute reference this particular range. So you use $sign, like I've used here, AC2 and AC1000, AC2 up to AC1000. You use the $sign, because if you don't use $sign, it will change. AC2 will go to AC3, AC1000, it will continue changing as you go down. And we don't want it to change, because the same column is the one we rank all these values against. So that is how you do the ranking here. So that's how you will extract those values. That's how you extract those values. So the helper column here has really helped us. We can now hide them. Now let us see what happening when we change the value here of the stream. When we change to from 1 blue, you can see now it is filtering. Only the from 1 blue mark sheet is coming. When you change to from 1 red, see it's filtering, and the position is also given in order. When you change to from 1 yellow, you're able to see it's filtering very nicely, and from 1 yellow mark sheet is reflected. So you can just print that one and give from 1 yellow. From 1 green, also you can see it's the largest stream. You can see it has filtered, and the positions are is given in order of these marks. Okay. When you look at the last one, from 1P, from 1P we don't have anybody there. There's nobody from 1P, so there's no problem. So that is a very nice way of filtering these streams. So when you do that, you easily uh, make that analysis, that component of analysis, which is the stream merit list, which is very important in a stream school. Stream merit list is very important. So that's how you can make stream merit list for these streams using those helper columns. So when you watch this video, you repeat, make your own, do practice every day. You will be able to make one very nicely on your own. So let me tell you how this one comes. We have from 1 yellow here. So you can see we have streams appearing here. So you must have a sheet where you are recording the streams. So streams are from 1. Stream from 1, you can see that here. So just have a sheet where you have the streams from 1, another sheet for stream from 2, and so on. So this sheet here is where we are going to extract using validation all the streams there. So let us go to validation. Just go to data, then go to data validation. Then okay, let me use another cell, construct one, or to create one. So you go to data, then data validation. Then in the data validation, you go to list. You choose list because you want a list of values. So the source of our list is actually from 1 streams. This one here, this is the source of the data. Streams from 1. So streams from 1 is the source of the data, but it's ranging like that. You're able to see that's now reflected very well. Streams from 1, B2 up to B6. Then you say, okay. So when you look at that cell, those streams have been reflected there. So that's how you create your validation list or validation drop down like that. Okay. So then the very last thing, after seeing how we create merit stream merit list, the very last thing now I want us to see or to look at is how we can order this list, because this list here, let me hide this one because it's just raw numbers of our table, so we can just hide, there's no problem. So our main table here, you can see we can order. Let me say this student is getting 100 marks. Okay, this one is now getting 99. Okay, so you can see those positions are always changing. You can see this person here is getting, instead of 13, let him get 90. So this ranking or class position, they are not arranged in order. So we need to arrange them in order. So how do we arrange that one in order instead of doing the ranking, which is so manual? There is this uh, button here where we click, then the list gets ordered according to the position. So when you order this list first, then the stream merit list will also come out to be ordered in that manner. So let us see how this one is done. So we use what we call uh, VBA code. So we go to Developer tab, then we go to Visual Basic, then what we need to do there before that, we need just to go to the Developer tab, then we go to Design mode. So this one is just a button in your Developer tab. You can insert buttons here. This one is here. So it's the one we put like that. Already you have your button. Then you can color it. If you want to color it, you come to properties, you change the color here, back color. You can even make it green if you like, any color that you want. Then the floor color here, you can change it to white. So you can do this kind of designing the way you want. Then now after having a button, double click that button. So there's this one here, this is the code behind ordering the table according to the position. So we are having this code here. You can just write it down, or you can copy it, or you can just uh, pause the video, then you copy it. It is for ordering a table, okay? So we are going to order according to this particular row, a particular column, this one here. We are ordering according to this. You can order according to this so that we start with the smallest value, increasing like that. Or you can even order according to this one so that you start with the largest value, then decreasing like that. So let us see which one we are using. So we are going to order according to AA1. So AA1, this one here, according to max. So which means we are going to use descending order because we want the largest to be at the top. So we are going to use descending order. So that means, uh, first of all, we need to define our table. So we are going to declare our table as total data, then as range, okay. Then we declare, or we define the range from where we are going to, or the range we are going to use to do ordering as the specific column as range, okay. Then we are setting the total data. We are setting the total data and giving the range of the total data. So it's on this worksheet of Form 1 mark sheet. Then range is B1 up to AB40. B1 up to AB40. So this table here, B1, okay, including the headers, B1 up to AB40. It's running down up to 40. The 40 value. So up to 40, you can see up to 40 here. That is the table. B1, B1 up to AB40. Okay, that's the table. So B1 up to AB40. Then we also setting specific column, which is just the from one mark sheet on this, on the worksheet, from one mark sheet. The range is AA1. That is the column we are going to use to do ranking. AA1. You can see this one here. This is the one we are going to use, AA1. So we are going to use total column. Then the next, here we have total data. We want to sort according to specific column, according to our total column, that is specific column, and we are going to order in descending order. We are going to use descending order, and we are going to use the header, total header. We are going to consider that. Then now, after that one, we are going to, this one is just to select this last line here of code there is just to select the cell where our cursor will go to after doing after sorting out this data. So after the data is sorted out, the cursor will be here. It will be there. That's where we are going to highlight after sorting out. So let us click. So because the code behind this button here is already written, we can now we can remove it from design mode so that it's now clickable. So when you click it, the code is going to run and it's going to cause that particular change. Okay, so let us click it. Uh, so let us click. If you click this one, you can see already the table is ordered in a minute, not in a minute, in a second, even less than a second. Okay, the table is now ordered and everything is now good. So when you come to your Form 1 streams, when you want now to generate those streams, merit list, now they will be ordered. They will just be automatically ordered. You can see. So friends, thank you for watching. Um, I wish you well. Stay tuned for the next video. Otherwise, thank you and God bless you.